Good morning. Greg here, burner both ends, burner on the front end of Wednesday. It's June 6th, 2018. I'm in Lakewood, Colorado at DOE's Energy I-Core. This is the start of day two, opening session. Day one was just fantastic. And this will be a quick post, even though I always say that and they always end up going long, or at regular time, I guess. But I do have some work to do this morning before we begin our meetings. I dug through my notes. I found some more nuggets of wisdom from yesterday's opening session. So I will deliver those and get on my way. But I do have my bubbly water. This is not a Meyer lemon. It's a regular lemon. I have to admit, I'm really particular to the Meyer lemon. So while this is delicious, when I get back to Albany, I'll be excited to have my Meyer lemon. So, all right. So on to today's post. So wisdom from opening session, day one, part two. All right. So I-Core. Opening session day one is in the books. It was a long day. Today's going to be an even longer day. I'm excited. We're going to get out of the building. We're going to do customer discovery interviews. I'm psyched for that. There's so much wisdom here for aspiring entrepreneurs and a lot of humbling activities, a lot of getting out of my comfort zone. Today we have 2 scheduled interviews and we have about 4 to 5 hours of time. And so we're going to probably be wrapping up our second interview by 3 if things go well. If the interview goes well, then you're going to probably be there for an hour. If it doesn't go well, cut it off at about 15, 20 minutes. And then I think we're just going to knock on some numbers and just try to drop in on some folks. And we'll just see how it goes. That's kind of the point, is to get out of the comfort zone. And so, searched through my notes, found some more nuggets of wisdom and joy. And so here, number 1, simplicity. So this is back to presenting and pitch decks and just, slide decks in general. Simplicity was stressed so much yesterday, in the presentation, in the storytelling, in the slides, in the language. And there was a great quote from Mark Twain that was posted up on one of the instructors' presentations. And it goes, "I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead." I kind of like that. And I know exactly what that means, because, it takes time to refine and chisel away the unnecessary components and just, kind of just hone it down to this nice, beautiful, simple message. And this is all part of the I-Core method to achieve this, simplicity. And it's with repetition. So they want the same person presenting every day, and it's like the same slide deck, and then you get feedback, and then you're just making minor tweaks. Well, I guess major if the feedback is major feedback, but I mean, hopefully, by day 2, it's you're getting into that like last 5%, right? And this is also something that I've noticed in my engineering career, is that it's kind of easy to get halfway there. It's not so difficult to get 3/4 of the way there, but that last 10% usually takes as much effort as like the first 90%, or the first 75%. So that's kind of, what goes in my mind, what goes on in my mind when I think about this. And, taking the feedback from the instructors, and make minor tweaks, repeat, refine, and then simplicity will come over time. Okay, so the second point were the different types of customers, right? So we're talking a lot about customer segments, and the big thing with I-Core is, for this program, is try to drill down into one customer segment and then go deep with that customer segment. And so, and in talking about learning about a company, and how they buy things, right? Because that's a critical, component to understanding the customer, is all the players involved in the decision making and the actual purchase of a product or a service. And so I'm going to list some types of customers. So these aren't types of customer segments. These are just types of customers that might be within one segment, right? So a decision maker, this could be, this is the kind of person close to the top of the decision tree. So there's like a manager or a C-level exec. This is the person that says, yes, we're going to buy that. Right? The person that controls the budget, that controls that top decision about yes or no. All right, and then you have the economic buyer. This is the person that might actually, be the specific person that generates the PO. The person that understands the organization's process for generating a PO, what can be in a contract, kind of more on the legal contractual side of things. But this is the person that physically executes the documentation to generate the purchase. You have the saboteur, someone inside the organization that is uncomfortable with your solution or with the solution being presented, and they're going to kind of do whatever they can to stop it from happening. It might be hard to find these people, but they certainly exist, right? Maybe they've got their own routine and this new software would interrupt their routine, or they just don't like new software. And so they have to learn something new and they hate going on trainings and they're going to have to go, I don't know, far away for a training and they just despise that. Things like that. And then on the opposite side of the saboteur, you have the influencer, the person who can influence a decision maker. Maybe this is like, the, I don't know, like the software expert or the person that really is good with the cloud-based platforms. And this is a new cloud-based platform. And the decision maker is really going to listen to Bob on whether or not we adopt this new cloud-based platform, right? And that's what, my company's offering. So who is this influencer? And, just kind of building a relationship with them and knowing that when they say, hey, I'll go talk to Sue. And you just know that means that they're going to go back channel communication and have a discussion and, kind of resolve an issue. Hugely important, as you can imagine. The end user, this is the person that obviously is going to use the actual product. And so this is the person that's going to, maybe, give some feedback. Let's just say it's a software platform, on the user interface, on some of the, like the workflows within the software. Maybe it's a little clunky in places. Think about an early adopter, and you want to tweak your product. Having someone like this is really critical because they can give you great feedback on, hey, yeah, that button's not working, or I was confused when I got to this part of the software, and if you could move this there, it'd be a lot more straightforward or obvious, things like that. And then you have the early evangelist. This is the person that's going to take risks and try new things, and kind of be bold and go, yeah, I'll give it a try. So maybe this is like someone that you give a free trial to, just to kind of taste it, to see what's up. And then the early evangelist, can work, can also be an influencer and can work with the influencer, and you can kind of see how all that works. The early evangelist can maybe help train the end user, so that way they're not so uncomfortable with trying something new. So these are just some of the players in a company that can influence buying decisions, and so it's important to just understand that your customer segment breaks out into these different types of folks who have different roles in the buying decision. So. And then the last piece that came up, we had a great talk. All of the entrepreneurial leads got together and chatted with some of the instructors, and we just kind of brought up some of the challenges, some of the problems that we're having in one team, right? So let me just take a step back. So part of this iCore customer discovery situation is we talk to people, but we do not talk about our technology because we do not want to bias the interview. And there is a kind of an urge to just talk about the technology because we love it. It's ours. It's easy to talk about. It's easy, to get excited about. They get excited about, the interviewee gets excited. Then we start talking about it, and that creates bias in the interview, right? Because if you say, hey, look at my cool thing, isn't it cool? It's hard for someone to say, oh, no, that's not cool. Especially, when what you have is really cool. And, even if it's totally useless in the industry, it could still be cool, right? There are lots of things like that. And so anyway, so we're not supposed to talk about the technology. We're not supposed to send information about the technology. If we say anything, it should be very high level, as in like one, maybe two sentences. And so anyway, so one team, the entrepreneurial lead, it's my job to, kind of reach out and cold call and connect with people and set up these interviews. And so I control the communication with this interviewee. So my PI, my principal investigator, should not be reaching out to these people without me knowing. And so there was one team where the PI is sending, papers and information and presentations and other technical information to the interviewee, which is sort of like a no-no. I mean, you can do that. I mean, obviously any rule in the world of being an entrepreneur should be broken at some point in time, but with a good reason. But as far as this program goes, we're supposed to try to do it their way. Anyway, and so blah, 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 blah. This entrepreneurial lead was communicating with a potential customer, and the PI was sending them all these papers and all this technical information. And what's going to happen, for that interview is they're going to walk in, and that interviewee is going to go, oh, I read that paper. Hey, I'd love to talk about page 3, paragraph 5. Look at this looks awesome, right? And it's going to completely bias the interview. And so we'll see if that entrepreneurial lead can salvage anything from that interview. But, and so what this led to, and I've talked about a communication plan before. And so I mentioned, hey, it's really important to sit down with your team and have a communication plan and understand who's going to be communicating with whom and just kind of get in alignment on that. So I was sure to do that with my team, and it's more than just reaching out to the interviewees. It's how do we communicate with each other? You know, do we use email? Do we use chat? Is text message okay? We learned that our industry mentor is not good with text messages. So any text message to him is going to be a yes or no question. I'm not going to expect long-winded answers in text message for him. So I'll email him. And then I've noticed that he loves to email. So, you know, even though I'm not the biggest fan of email sometimes, I know that, so I can deal with that. So, and also something else I've noticed about him is that he's been emailing us from like 3 different email accounts, which can be confusing in trying to find things. So, but anyway, so yeah, so communication plan is key. And, you know, it's all about being in alignment on how we're going to communicate. I mean, we don't all have to agree, right? That's this alignment versus agreement. Like with my industry mentor, I don't agree that email is the best way. I set up a web form that shoots ideas to a smart sheet. That's where I prefer it, but I'll take his emails, right? I don't need to disrupt his entire, you know, workflow and habit. I'll deal with it. So anyway, so that's today's post. Not too much, not too much shorter, but that's all right. It's all good. You all go out, have a great day. So check out the description, and there's an outline for the talk down below in the description. I have links to motivational videos that really turned me on to this elevate my game this year. There are some links to some great music, some psychedelic ambient, a DJ set from DJ Sabo on SoundCloud, and then my beats. So there are no beats in the background. I don't have the software to do that while I'm here on the road. I just have my Chromebook. But check out my beats. I'm a drummer. I've been drumming for decades. G Money is my alter ego. I write these drum songs, so check them out. They're great to study to or work to. Yeah, and there's lots of free beats on SoundCloud. So check that out. So y'all go out, have a great day, inspire people, be of service, and just do great things. Talk soon.